The Edmonton Elks, formerly the EE football team, or the Edmonton Eskimos, is the most northernly Canadian football league team. With 14 Grey Cup wins, they have the second most championships of any CFL team, and have a long legacy of Hall of Fame players, and oddly enough, Canadian politicians, from municipal to federal levels. Recently, there has been some concern over the long-standing name of Eskimo, and how it relates to colonialism and appropriation. The organization decided to drop the name in 2020 and hold an online poll for the new name. On June 1st, 2021, the Elks name was brought back to the CFL. Yes, I said brought back. Let me explain. Way back in the 1910s, a fellowship called the Elks of Canada was created to ape a similar American charitable organization. They were a group of men who had a good reputation, believed in a supreme being, and adhered to a lawful government. They also had to be at least 16. They had always had a presence in Alberta from the start of the 1920s, but in 1921, they started supporting local sports teams on top of charitable work they did for the Edmonton area communities and children. In the 1920s, almost every Edmonton sports team was called the Eskimos. This was due to Edmonton's geographical location and how far north it was. The Elks started to host play-by-plays of these games at their clubs, and they would let the teams train on their fields and host musicals and parties. The Elks slowly became more and more integral to the Edmonton sports scene. Despite their 1921 loss to the Toronto Argonauts in the Grey Cup, the Edmonton rugby football team would show their worth. The Elks invested in the club with a large monetary donation, and in honor of it, they were renamed to the Edmonton Elks for the latter half of their 1922 season. And yes, for the record, the plural of elk is Elks. They would again make it all the way to the championship, only to lose to the Kingston Queens. Yes, it's spelled with an apostrophe, and it is named after the university. Now, this name didn't come without some pushback. If this one letter to the editor is to be believed, the name wasn't all that popular. Heck, the players didn't even change their jerseys. Roughly a week later, the Elks name was rarely seen in papers on its own, often being put beside the Eskimos name or dropped completely. By 1924, the Eskimos name had completely replaced the Elks name, and it was here to stay. 97 years later, the Elks are back. Personally, I really like the branding, and I think the logo is much better than the old EE. Here are to many future wins, Elkaholics. Thanks for watching.